Guess who ends up with the land? The bankers. He who controls the land controls everything. Okay? What happened in the Depression? Everybody lost their land. The bankers gained hold of it. Okay? When Roosevelt changed the Supreme Court, he changed the face of the country. Every act he put through was unconstitutional. The first Supreme Court even ruled so. So he didn't like those guys, so somehow or another they got out. And he got his people in. There's court case after court case after court case on HJR 192. And every one of them says, this is fine, you can do this. We just impaired the obligation of contract and you can't do anything about it. What does it say? Whereas the existing emergency, by the way, when did the emergency start? Does anyone know? Okay, I'll make it easy for you. 1861. You know why? You know how you know? That's when the first executive order was signed by Lincoln. Okay? An executive order is living proof that the Constitution of the United States does not exist. It's moot. Okay? There is no provision in the Constitution of the United States for an executive order that I can find. Okay? When they suspended the Constitution, they could bring in executive order, and that's rule by edict. How many executive orders did Clinton put forth in the last 24 hours of his administration? A whole bunch. Okay? And it's only by another executive order or another process that Congress doesn't have the guts to go do that any of those executive orders can be undone. Okay? That's reality. All right? I'm going to skip down here to resolve by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled that A, every provision contained in or made with respect to any obligation which purports to give the obligee a right to require payment in gold or a particular kind of coin or currency or in an amount of money of the United States measured thereby is declared to be against public policy. And no such provision shall be contained in or made with respect to any obligation hereafter incurred. Legal speak. That's what that is legal speak. Okay? What does that mean? Well, it says here that they can't require you to pay in gold. Now, what was significant about this in 1933 was this. There were all kinds of contracts made all over the United States that were based in gold. You could go to the bank and you could borrow gold. And that's what they gave you when you borrowed it. Then along come HJR 192 and you could take back paper to the bank instead of gold. That's what this meant. Well, the bankers and anybody else that had loaned gold said, oh no you don't. I gave you gold, I want back gold. Congress said, nope, can't be done. Congress impaired the obligation of contract. Matter of fact, they totally destroyed the obligation of contract. And the Supreme Court upheld it. Okay? Now, there was lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit over this issue because here was all this substance that had been gone out, taken and put out in loans and other contracts, and the loaners and the contract holders were getting back paper. How many of you will give me gold in exchange for my paper? Come on. Nobody, right? Well, they felt the same way. How can you do this? This is not right. Well, there's an emergency, so we're going to do it. And they did it. But there's something else very key. Okay? And I want you to just lightly take a pen or a pencil, and I want you to strike out the words gold or, and forget it ever existed. Okay? No, just gold or, just lightly, so that you don't blot it out completely. Just take and write it, just line through it a little bit. Okay? And then I want you to reread the sentence with me. That every provision contained in or made with respect to any obligation which purports to give the obligee a right to require payment in a particular kind of coin or currency, in a particular kind of coin or currency, is declared to be against public policy. Your Honor, what would you be requiring me to pay that judgment in? Okay? Are you with me? In a particular kind of coin or currency is against public policy. By the way, people all over the United States talk about, oh, I want the common law. You got it. Common law is public policy. Okay? It's common to everyone. Over here, a few pages. I'm going to come back to some of these other pages here that I in here, about 8 or 9 pages. There's an interesting document from the Department of Treasury, and it says Federal Reserve notes are not dollars. That's from the Department of Treasury, 1977. Federal Reserve notes are not dollars. Isn't that interesting? HGR 192 said a particular kind of coin or currency. Now, here's some coins, and right now in existence that we carry around, there's only one form of currency. Federal Reserve notes. But the Treasury said those aren't dollars. Those are just paper denominated in dollars. And Congress said there can be no contract made requiring the payment in any particular kind of coin or currency. So what do we pay in? You can volunteer your Federal Reserve note and they have to take it, as long as you volunteer. What are you going to do if you don't volunteer? What are they going to do if you don't volunteer? They're going to take you to court, right? They're going to get a judgment. And they're going to do that most dastardly of all deeds. They're going to make a bad mark on your credit report. Okay? That's what's going to happen. And then they're going to get a judgment. And we're going to talk about all of those things. But what I want you to get in your mind is that there can be no law or contract made requiring you to pay in any particular kind of coin or currency. That's public policy. Okay? Now, how many of you know what public policy is? I'll just take a minute and read to you out of the legal Bible. Public policy. Listen to this. Remember now, I said common law is now public policy. Okay? So tell me if I'm right here. Public policy. Community common sense and common conscience extended and applied throughout the state to matters of public morals, health, safety, welfare, and the like. It is that general and well-settled public opinion relating to man's plain, palpable duty to his fellow men, having due regard to all circumstances of each particular relation and situation.